Here, welcome to PrepperNow, folks. Wanted to come on and just do a not too long one. I had a good one yesterday. Yesterday was a pretty long one for me, about an hour. Try to do about 30, 45 minutes on the live. Don't have anything necessarily specifically, but, that's why I put it. We have to talk. We got to talk about all this stuff. All kinds of crazy coming on. Here's the daily job cuts if you just want a nice snapshot of all the BS going on in the world, like New York City hotels set to take in over $1 billion in taxpayer funds to help our new neighbors. South Florida condo owners are hit with six-figure assessments due to new Florida laws. Walmart class action lawsuit over deceptive and unfair price. No. Remember during Rona when they were the only game in town and you couldn't go elsewhere? I mean, kind of makes it if a corporation has no competition, and I'm sure that there's other areas like maybe information and internet we could talk about where there's just a little too large to barge or whatever. I don't know how to put it, but Walmart cleaned up during Rona, and a lot of people went out of business that had smaller outfits. But City Bike raising prices. Governor J.B. Pritzker, one of the best in the nation, is opening more new neighbor households. Price of postage stamps to be raised soon, going up. My Lord, everything, everywhere. Forever stamp will be 73 cents. I remember when they were a friggin' quarter. I remember postage were 10 cents. Target, no more personal checks. Another beautiful day in Oakland. Gas station ransacked by 100 looters. Oh, lovely. Yes. Ford recalling more than 30,000 Mustangs. Yep. Another day. What's going on over here? AT&T. All of our call and text records have been exposed if you are a member of AT&T. Red Lobster might not be gone. You might be able to get those fantastic cheddar biscuits still if they can restructure in a way. Kroger and Albertsons closing 600 stores. We all know that, which means, again, more price gouging and only a couple games in town when it comes to you getting your food. You might want to do what we do. We go to the local farmers. Just go straight to them. Last week, in fact, we're still eating the fruit and veggies that I got. It was $42 for actually 7, because my parents were here last weekend. We'll say 6 people for a week. And I still haven't even cracked into the watermelon or the big, beautiful cantaloupe they have. Or we're still going through the grapes, the strawberries. Still got broccoli. Still got green beans. I mean, yeah. So go visit your local farmers. Delta Airlines banning employees from wearing pins representing any country but the U.S. Can you imagine if they did that to people's cars in New York City? All those Venezuela drivers going down. If you don't know that, if you're in New York City, all the drivers have like little flags in there hanging from their rear view mirror of wherever country they've come from. Mod Pizza saved for now. U.S. producer prices have surged in the fastest pace in 15 months. Yeah, it's awesome. What's going over here? Thales Biomedical shares tumbled. Yeah, we're they're not saying it, and they're not going to tell you, but our markets, our debt, we're in a debt system, folks. For those that don't know, if you've been coming here, I've said it many times, I've explained it. We're in a debt system. It's a debt-based system. What does that mean? We need debt. We need debt to keep going. We need people taking out debt. We need people spending money. If people think that prices are going to go down, and if they wait 6 months, they can get that car, that whatever, for less money, then they're not taking on new debt to buy it. Okay? So, and that means prices go down. If prices goes down, then all these corporations, God bless them, are going to get stuck holding the bag, So Airbnb is seeing slowing demand. Oh, this is one we covered. I think it was here or it might have been on the crisis report. We now have broken a record, folks. $1.14 trillion in credit card debt. That is the highest level on record since they took data starting in 2003. Now, I have one credit card, and I basically buy my food on it, and then the bill is due on the 28th, and I pay it in full, okay? And I'm only doing it to rock out and really increase my my credit score, which is pretty darn good right now. But, own my car. We own my wife. Shed is 1 month from being paid off. Can't wait. Our two debts are basically the after the shed. The addition we put on and her vehicle. That's it. And we debt snowball. So we've rocked through everything else, and now we're going to be taking on her car next because that's the next little one. And then after that, it'll be the addition. So hopefully we'll get those knocked out. But they, it's people. I know they say you shouldn't take on any debt. You're going to take on a little bit of debt at some point. Okay, maybe you're running a business and you need a truck, whatever. It's going to happen. Should you go out and just put everything on the credit card and all that? No, but people are going to buy things on debt. Now, you've gotten to things, gotten to the point where you have to put your groceries on debt. Well, no, that's bad. So, obviously, that is what's going on in America. A lot of people are getting into the credit card debt if we are blowing out records after 21 years. So, moving on. Disney raising prices. Don't go there. Retail traders furious as outages hit U.S. brokerage. Monday chaos. Furniture maker production nearly a year after closing with 500 layoffs. Down. 1 in 3 parents say they cannot afford back-to-school shopping this year. And you know what? It gets expensive every year. We have 3 kids. We have a middle schooler and 2 elementary. And we went and we did our shopping for the back-to-school stuff about 2 weeks ago. We did it in July. And the reason why is because whenever August comes around, they jack up the prices, And there's nothing left. So you're paying top dollar for like that 5-star spiral notebook, which you could have gotten the house brand for half as much. So yeah, we learned that lesson last year. We went way too late and we spent way too much. And so my wife said this year, she said, I'm going out now and getting them. And I was like, okay. Does it save money? Uh-huh. Okay, we're good. So yeah, debt. Hey, look at that. Looks like we made it. We did, folks. New record. United States national debt, $35.123 trillion doll hairs. Yes. We're on pace for, let's slide it back, $1 trillion in new debt added every 100 days. Easily exceed $36 trillion by the end of the year. So whoever the new popular winner is, they're going to feel the love. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that beautiful red crack going down the edifice that used to be America's fiscal responsibility. It's completely shattered. So also pays for $1.5 trillion in interest on the national debt in the next 12 months. 30% of all that we pay. Now that is what we call the debt spiral. What's that? Well, the debt spiral is when you're paying only off the interest. You are not paying any of the principal down. So if 1.5 trillion, I believe it is, I tried to click on this, it wouldn't let me go, but I think that is 30% of all tax revenue that comes in. I think that's what they're trying to say there. So Treasuries borrows $28 billion in just one day. Friends, is that sustainable by any stretch of the imagination? All these people, these Wall Street types, They come in and they're like, oh man, we can just keep creating debt until, whenever. It's all good. I can assure you, looking at this right here, no, we cannot do this forever. At some point, we're going to have to turn the credit cards off. The tap's going to have to go away. All the little, things that get our elected officials elected, that they dangle in front of their constituents' heads, they're not going to be there anymore. We're not going to be able to do it. It's just not going to happen. So either we just crap the bed completely and then the whole thing comes crashing down and we're not the reserve currency and then all the dollars from across the world come sloshing home and we have this thing called hyperinflation. And you and I are really in a world of hurt. So when Trump said yesterday that we are on the precipice of a Great Depression, he's not that far outside the realm of possibility. Let's go over here. What else? Paramount Global announcing significant layoffs. We covered here that Disney has laid off 220,000 people globally, if you include all of their parks and their, studios and everything else. Not good. So Bob Bakish, CEO of Viacom CBS, Paramount Global. Long storied history. They will cut 15% of the U.S.-based workforce. Co-CEO Chris McCarthy said Thursday. Media company disclosed its plans for the layoffs as it released its second quarter. Every single company out there, folks, is really not doing well right now. Okay? Really. And there is a nasty financial horizon on the horizon. So, you either look at reality or that's why I see these people out there that, a good video by M.D. Creekmore, and kind of along this line, and I agree with him on this sentiment, and I'm glad he said it. He gets people in his comments all the time that say, hey, I don't have anything to worry about. I've got God, and God says it's going to be all right. Yes, it does say don't be afraid hundreds of times in the Bible, but being afraid and being prepared are two very different things. I mean, I think the story of Noah alone kind of should be in the back of your mind on what it means to prepare when you see a major storm on the horizon. So, M.D. Creekmore, thank you so much for doing that. That's one guy I'd like to just shake hands, just to listen to his really awesome accent. He's got the Appalachian down, and I'm not too far north from him. But, I'm glad he said that. I see comments like that, too. Like, I get it, fear not. But at the same time, don't neglect preparation. You don't have to, prepping isn't fear. In fact, prepping is to stop fear. We all know this, right? Covered many times on this channel. So 2,000 staffers will lose their job in layoffs, according to Reuters. This is terrible news for the fine people that are cutting the movies and putting them into the can and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's going to get bad. It really is. So stock surge, streaming division hits profit, but they're also laying off. You know why? It's because the most expensive thing a business does is hire people. Labor is the most expensive thing. That's why I read this thing where JPMorgan is going to have 60,000 AI assistants for their people that are working for them. Now, great. Hey, they can help me. AI, good. All that. I see Big Brother. Make sure that you're productive and you're working as you're supposed to do, and yada yada yada. So, whatever is whatever. 500 million. Let's see. Annual run rate cost savings across the company, and that's going to come basically from people's jobs. All right. Generated $6.81 billion in total revenue. That's down 11% year over year. So that's not good. Down 3%. Okay. All right. 11%. That's bed crapping. Again, remember, 1 to 5, manageable. 5 to 10, warning signs. 10 or above, dire straits. You're in problems. You're having troubles. But it's all right, folks. Oh, where is it? Oh, yeah, here's the AI assistant thing. Let me talk about that real quick. Integrated AI-powered chatbots, client services to improve the customer experience. Yes. They can handle more complex banking tasks, allowing for faster and more efficient service. Rather than creating its OAI models, JPMorgan designed LLM Suite as a portal that allows users to access external large language models. So I read that. I read two things. First and all, foremost, Big Brother and less jobs. I mean, if it's getting to the point where these, low-level speaking things where people just kind of initiate you into the website and say, how can I help? I mean, we've all experienced the phone where you call, press 1 if you're ready to vote Kamala. Press 2 if you're ready to vote Trump. That we're all used to the AI-generated voices. Well, now they're doing basic tasks that our friends in India and Indonesia used to do. So, yeah, that's going to take some jobs away, maybe internationally. It's been introduced across several of JPMorgan's divisions, including consumer banking, investment banking, asset and wealth management. Tool aids employees in tasks like summarizing lengthy documents, problem solving with Excel, and generating creative ideas. Engineers at the bank can also use LLM Suite to incorporate functions from external AI models into the program. So, again, taking jobs away and snitching. So, well, this is bad news. Election 2024. This is Rasmussen. Rasmussen was the one that basically has gotten it right because they don't oversample. They sample people, but they do it in a more traditional way. Back in the 1980s and 90s, you might be old enough to remember like me, back when they cared about this thing called integrity, right? When they cared about doing things right and not just trying to have some kind of a friggin' a narrative so their political racehorse D-bag can get in and they can tell them all the crazy, crappy things they want to do to Americans. How you doing, Alex and George? So, this is a real poll. You can read the selection and all that. But anyway, former President Trump has maintained his lead over Kamala Harris. Support for Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s independent campaign continues to decline, because basically, even though Joe Rogan came out and said, hey, I'm voting for him, cool, whatever. Tell him not to dump bears in Central Park. So the report's National Telephone Online Survey in two-way matchup, 49. That's a two-way matchup, okay? So that's not with Kennedy, which is even worse for Kamala. Voters would vote for Trump, 49%, 44% would vote for Harris. So Fox is going to come out, they're going to see this, and Paul Ryan is going to get all butthurt and say, your poll show all the Republicans that he's losing. And they'll oversample the crap out of Democrats, and they'll come out in the Fox News poll in the next 96 hours, and you mark my friggin' words, it will. And it'll say that Harris is up by 3-4 points, 2-3 points, something like that. And you'll look into it, and it'll be Democrats were polled at 36%, Republicans at 31%. Even though, if you know, now basically the largest group out there are independents, and Democrats used to be the larger party between the two, and now they're actually less because people think they're crazy. Ha! Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, it shows, but this is coming, Now, as we covered last night, and don't worry, I'm going to get to the juicy part. As we covered last night, I don't think any of this matters. I think that all of this is going to come down to some swing states and what they're doing. Youngkin came out and said that it's paper or vapor. We're going to only do paper. We're not going to do anything else. The guy from Smartmatic got in trouble. Uh-oh, can't mention that. No domain. Georgia said that if there's any signs of chicanery, they're going to make it easier for their people to contest and all that. And other states are kind of wising up. They're like, hey, wait a second. This isn't exactly the America that I signed up for. And, at that point, you mark my words, this is all fine and well, but it's going to set us up for the interregnum, as I like to call, between reg, king, num, time period. Interregnum. And, it's not going to be good. We're going to get crazy. We're going to get nutty. We're already seeing it. You got a little taste. If you want to see any of this, just go back to Minneapolis, Minnesota in 2020. And who was the governor at that point? That's right. It's the last waltz. Read a story that he abandoned his 87-year-old mother after heart surgery during Rona so he could go be with his people. Great job, bud. I'm sure that the great state of Minnesota could have managed itself while you helped mom. I know what I would do. I would be with my mom. So, but then again, she was good to me, and I'll be good to her. And his his integrity is really getting questioned, rightfully so. So, what did I really want to talk about? Now, if you have been, follow me over on the Crisis Report. We've been really hot and heavy over on the Israeli-Iran thing. Okay, I cover it every day. If you are not there, by the way, if you're new here, please hit the like button, darken out the bell to get the notifications. Should you subscribe, highly recommend it. We do nice, smart person talks here about real world stuff. I'm not trying to scare you and buy my bug out bag. I just want to tell you that it's a wise idea to prep. My revenue comes from the fine people like you that are in the chat right now. Northern Girl Hobbies, great to see you, girl. I have not seen you in a while. I know you've been busy. I was up in your land there last week, but you were much farther west. I didn't want to burden you. But you have a beautiful country up there. You really do. I can see why you love it so. I was really impressed, not with the not with the just Canada's beauty. It was a beautiful country, don't get me wrong, but the people were super nice. Canada nice is a real thing. So I'm glad you're here. Good to see you. I was thinking about you earlier. A lot of things going on. We've covered the debt. We are 35.123 trillion in debt. Well, it's going up. It's going to continue to go up, and a lot of it's because of all this war. And over on the Crisis Report, youtube.com/@Crisis Report, we been covering the Middle East. Well, there's been some craziness going on over in Russia. And Kursk, incursion has been going on. And I called it out today. I said, hey, we have been using major military equipment from America to go and strike deeper and deeper and deeper into Russia. And they're using HIMARS, okay? And HIMARS. These are rocket systems. They're also using ATACMSs, which are anti-tank artillery. And these things can go quite a long way, and they are very destructive. Well, now they're talking about maybe hitting Moscow. What do you think Moscow do? What do you think Medvedev in his poetry of the snakes and biting people's testicles and stuff? Mac, thank you very much. I always make fun of Dmitry Medvedev because he's always like a snake on your testicle. Russia will bite down, and like that kind of thing. So hopefully, if you like what I said there, if you thought that was funny, I like to do a little humor. Medvedev, he's got some really cool Russian proverbs, and the snake testicle one, go check that one out. They're saying that Sabrina Singh, she's the spokeswoman, without hesitation said, yes, it is consistent with our policy, and explained that Washington has supported the need for crossfire from Ukraine back across the border onto Russian positions from which it is being attacked, even if that is Russian territory. She framed the happening of what's happening in Russia's Kursk Oblast offensive, which has entered day 4. When pressed about the scenario of a direct Moscow hit, she said, I'm not going to put specific range on it and thus to refuse to rule it out. I'm not going to draw a circular map for you here or where they can and cannot strike. Okay, so she's at this press conference saying this. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that gets a real WW3 going. I mean, the Israeli-Iran thing is worrisome because it's going to be a regional thing. You know, I mean, they get going and Egypt enters the fray, Jordan enters the fray, Lebanon enters the fray, Syria, Iraq, of course, Iran. You've got people helping like Cyprus. You've got people, maybe helping in other proxy ways like Turkey. It becomes a regional fight, right? We start striking at Moscow, and regional is going to be blown out of the water to global nuclear catastrophe. Now, I have often said on the Crisis Report, I have said it here, I've said it all over. I don't think nuclear weapons are going to be chucked at people. I think anybody out there that is saying, you're going to get nuked. I mean, is it a possibility? It's always a possibility. But I believe in mutually assured destruction. I believe that the people out there in the halls of power know that you hit that button and it's over. Like, all bets are off. So you do everything up until then. That is the last thing. Now, the Israelis, it's worried because of their doctrine called the Samson option, which basically means if they're about to die and it is truly existential, they're going to hit the buttons and they're going to bring the whole temple down. Okay? Russia and America, Samson option isn't really our thing, but Moscow getting hit, I can see conjecture and talks and rhetoric from people that would up the nuclear conversation, okay? So the Kremlin is likely to remain unconvinced when hearing this clear escalation in rhetoric from the Pentagon when attacking the Russian capital is discussed. Now, if you saw Putin hanging out with Gerasimov and Belasov, I think his name is, or Butanov, anyway, a bunch of Novs and Kovs in his meeting over this Kursk thing. I mean, Putin looked pissed. Putin's pretty cool, and I'm not saying cool like I like him, or he's a nice guy. I'm saying like he is a collected, cool customer, all right? He doesn't really show his emotion, and that's not some kind of fanboy crap I'm putting out there. I don't want Russia to win anything. I want war to stop. We've covered this many times. I'm anti-war. I'm worried that this will escalate and then more people will die. So I'm not a fan of any of this. Rhetoric like this is going to pressure Putin. Rhetoric like this is going to make him so he's got to make statements. That's why he has Medvedev. Medvedev is there to say the quiet part out loud. Putin isn't going to say it. Putin's going to go in calmly collected and talk to, other heads of state and do his thing. But going after Moscow with anything is going to raise the hair on the back of Putin's neck. And, Kursk is a region north of Sumy. It's in the northern part. It's close to Belarus. This whole thing in Kursk was just kind of done. They've actually done it pretty good. It's a pretty interesting thing. At first, it was like, what the heck are these guys doing? Well, I mean, it's not going to really last too long, but it is really being a nuisance for the Russians. Okay, great, fine, whatever. They strike back. They hit things. If they get in, they establish an area in this oblast, which is like their state or province, and they start chucking missiles close to Moscow, Katie bar the door. You're going to see some major things. I mean, the Russians, in their minds, in their talking about all this, whole purpose of going in and doing the Ukraine thing was effectively to tell NATO to BTFO, okay? And, they've been saying this for a long time, and the doctrine is that we weren't going to go much farther east, but they kept going farther east. Things kept going, and they kept adding and annexing former Warsaw Pact countries all the way through up until the doorstep, which is Ukraine, of Russia. And Russia was like, okay, this is too much. We're going to go after you. And they went in and they, mushroom stamped Zelensky. But at the same time, I think Russia understands, or at least it's their idea. That's what I think they're doing. I could be wrong. They are basically there, and they know that these are ethnic Russians. So if they go in there and do what America does for most foreign escapades, where we just level the friggin' place and chuck up some cell phone tower, portable ones, and establish communications on top of a bunch of irradiated or, flaming rocks, that's what we do. They're more surgical. They're like, oh, you got, Mama Popov and her sisters over in this little town making their bread and stuff. We're not going to go in there and just level the place. We're going to be a little bit more strategic about it. But war is war. Now you've got Ukraine going, I think they've taken 430 kilometers into, this area of Russia. And, they could start chucking things even farther east. They have the capabilities. We've given them the kinds of weapon systems that can make it so they could strike into Moscow. So fighting in Kursk on its fourth day, which is unprecedented for a Ukrainian military incursion inside Russia. That's true. They've done these little things before, but they haven't amounted to much. Simultaneously stepped up its cross-border drone attacks, reportedly hitting an important military airfield in Lipetsk, impacting a facility where glide bombs are stored. Struck a key military airfield in Lipetsk, 300 kilometers or 186 miles from the border of Ukraine. That's how far they've gone in. Google Translator, so they're getting all this and they're translating anyway. Earlier in the week, Ukrainian offensive led to the evacuation of thousands of people in a state of emergency being announced in Kursk. So, Russia's getting embarrassed from all this, which is bad enough. So, this is the border right here, right? And they're getting up in there. They're getting up in there. So ATACMS long-range missiles strike deep into Russia. Well, this will give them leverage they need for negotiations with Russia. This is what it's all about. Mikhail Podolyak, senior advisor to Zelensky, said, I don't see that happening. I don't see them going, hey, get out. I think the Russians are going to get annoyed by this and they're going to go after them. But the big worry is that if they really do establish some kind of a beachhead here, or loggerhead, or whatever the heck you want to call it, position, and they start chucking these things into residential areas, Russia's going to be like, this is kind of the West too. And also, there were channels out there on Telegram, and I'm on them all day. This is what I do during the day. It'll change when I'm back to work, but I'm on them all day. And there was a few of them that were saying that at the very least, there is NATO guidance in all this. Positioning, GPS, coordinates and all that, eyes in the sky, drones, command and all that, that is coming from Western influence. So, there's also other people saying that there are actually NATO people in these incursions. Kevin Grip, thank you very, very much to you and Mac for gifting those, what am I call memberships? Yes. $2 a month if you are so inclined. I really appreciate it. It's a great way. I put stuff in the background when I find stuff that is of importance. But, I don't think this is going to give leverage. I think this is going to just anger Moscow, and it will threaten an escalation. I mean, you're going to see Russia get ticked off. I really believe that. I think Putin is going to only handle this for so long. I think the upper echelon in the armed forces, Gerasimov is probably going to get a nice desk job at best or never seen again at worst. Medvedev will come out with some beautiful nuclear weapon Armageddon poetry using animal, alliteration. Excuse me. And Putin's going to basically drop the hammer. And that's the thing. I really do believe, people are like, oh, it's taking them so long. These are their people. So I think they really are trying to be a little more kid gloves on stuff. But where this goes from here, I don't know. We've already got major problems going on in the Middle East. That whole thing, just be thankful that there's a lot of diplomats out there right now, at least trying at this point in this late stage in the game, to make it so Iran and Israel do talk to each other. But I can assure you right now that's not going to happen. At some point, either Israel is going to do a preemptive attack into Lebanon, I would believe, or the Iranian proxies are going to use some of their newer stuff from Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, and Gaza, West Bank, and Golan Heights. And you're going to see that escalate. And my big worry, folks, is that if one of these really gets going, if Russia's just like, F it, I'm done. And they go full on into, and they're going to take Kiev, and they want to get all the way as far west as Lvov. At that point, Iran or Israel says, F it, let's take this moment. The Americans are obviously caught up in that. Let's take this opportunity. And then at that point, Venezuela says, you know what, let's take Essequibo. These guys have been angering me anyway. I totes won the election, bro. It is my dominion over Venezuela, is what Maduro claims. And he goes into Essequibo for the oil. And then China's like, you know what, let's go take back Taiwan. And the whole thing just thundercraps the bed. And at that point, going back to our lovely, where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, moved it. Our debt. Anyway, yeah, our debt. We're not going to have the money to pay for any of this. We're not going to have the money to do all this. And this is going to really saddle us. That's the problem with having just debt all over the place. You can't do what you want. You've been there. I've been there. God, I really want this. Oh, yeah, I took out all this crap load of debt on that stupid car I shouldn't have bought. Right? That's where we are, but it's like nuclear weapons. So we are in a bit of a pickle. We're in a very not good place geopolitically. Also, we have I personally think, and my degree is basically in geopolitics. The people running our geopolitics are the people that check the right boxes, went to the right schools, but have absolutely zero real world experience and are academic friggin' idiots. And they're over there playing around as, people from Russia and Iran, serious folk that are kind of done with things, are understanding that these people are oblivious. They're more into getting a cocktail when the day is done with whoever down at the local bar than they are to taking care of business for their country. I mean that. And so because of that, we don't have the smartest people in the room, and we're getting worked. If we weren't getting worked, we wouldn't see what's going on in Russia. If we weren't getting worked, we wouldn't see what's going on in Israel and with Iran. If we weren't getting worked, we wouldn't see every single day the PLA and PLAN going and doing incursions into the ODYSEE of Taiwan. If we weren't getting worked, we wouldn't see Venezuela saying, F you, I don't respect you, and I might just take Essequibo. So this is what happens when you're Shannon Boss, thanks for being a member. This is what happens when the people running the show are just, have political ends on things, but don't have any true common sense or knowledge about what the heck they're doing. And we're all going to suffer from it. So we had to talk about that. All right? I'm going to go watch a movie with my wife. And it's like a crappy chick flick, but I love her and I'll do that for her. So, friends, please hit the like button. Do the subscribe thing if you are new here. Darken out the bell. Leave a comment. Oh my gosh, Shannon, thank you so much for gifting 10 memberships. It really does help on multiple levels for the memberships. The membership people means that Borg likes me, okay? For those that don't know who a Borg is, one of the other kids in the chat will figure out and tell you. But on that note, we're going to check it out right there. I really appreciate you. I love being able to come here and have these talks. So, yeah, we're indebted and we've got war all around us and a bunch of idiots running our geopolitics. That's a problem. And I want to talk about it. So do whatever you can to hold on to your job. Get a side hustle if you can. Figure out ways to prep. So at the very very least, if something bad goes on, at least you've got like food and things, you know? Okay? We do a walk every night with our dogs, and we met this guy that said he had just gotten done fishing, and he's been fishing much more because, he's trying to make it so he's got things to eat, and fishing is what he can do to supplement. So maybe that's what you do. I don't know. Fishing's fun. Fishing's relaxing, but fishing also feeds you. So another great skill that preppers should know. All right, friends, we're going to leave it at that. God bless you all. I really appreciate you. As always, engage and do that. Check out the links in the description for Minds, Gab, X, and Truth, where I post every once in a while. Just started following Pinball, and he followed me back. Good old boy. I love that guy. Yeah, so all of that. And then, of course, subscribe, star, and locals if you're into a few dollars a month for some stuff that you can't see elsewhere. I'll be posting all night in and tomorrow on that one. It's been about 24 hours. I appreciate you. God bless. PrepperNow out.